Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day today. Before we get started with today's video, I want to remind everybody you can join the channel right now for just 99 cents. Starting the 1st of January 2023, the MVP, VIP, and Pro levels of membership are going to go away, and all those perks are going to go to the 99-cent member. Great way to support the channel, and also a great way to support the content that you like. Also, I want to send a quick shout out to Tommy Schmitz, who is my newest member to the channel. This is so awesome. I've gained so many members over the last month. You guys just don't know how much this means to me, and thank you so much for joining the channel. I appreciate it so much. And I do also want to point out that if you do enjoy the channel and enjoy the content, if you have not watched the What to Watch in 2023 video yet, if you would, please watch that. It covers kind of some of the partnerships that are coming up and items that I'm going to be covering in 2023. And it's really exciting. I've got some sponsors that are coming on board that are really integrated into the open source community, and I think it's going to be really great for the channel. Also, today is kind of a follow-up to yesterday's video. I did a video yesterday that said, Stop the Linux BS. What I covered was what tech channels write online about easy, moderate, hard. When you go look up something like Linux for beginners and what they tell you, how they give you such a misleading message that sometimes when people try to switch to Linux, it's kind of frustrating because they don't know which way to go. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to kind of tell you how I chose my Linux distributions, how I chose to enter Linux, and what made it easier for me. Everybody's got a different story of what made them come to Linux or move to Linux, but this is just what I did. And if you're somebody that's new and considering about moving over to Linux, this might be the video for you. So let's go to a desktop I really don't want to go to. And there it is, my comparison machine with Windows 11 in all of its glory. Now, if you look at Windows 11 right here, this is what you're used to doing. This is your workflow. You know, when you open your files, it pops up here. It's got a certain look to it. You've got a way that you move around the desktop. That's very important. The GUI is very important, especially if you've got a specific workflow you need to stick to in a specific way that you do things. Now, if you're on Windows 10, you might still have everything over here, and you've got all these icons lined up on your left. Same concept. You click on the Windows button over here. It gives you a list of applications, or maybe you can go over and look at other applications. You know what I mean. You know what your workflow is. You know how you get around an operating system. That's the way I actually wanted to switch when I moved to Linux. I wanted to look at the desktop environments for the specific fact that I'm going to be working in this and I'm going to have a workflow. So it's up to me to find a desktop that kind of gives me that comfort of, even though it's going to be different, it's going to give me a different way to do things on Linux. But it's going to give me a familiar feeling of what I used to use. This may sound stupid to some of y'all, but this is the way I looked at it. Go out and look for a desktop environment. Watch videos about it. Don't do the Google search of what's the best Linux desktop environment. Just go out and put a search in for something like desktop environments, and you will get a plethora of them. This right here, KDE Plasma, is probably my favorite desktop environment. Right now, I'm using XFCE because that's what AV Linux uses, and that's what my 30-day daily driver is right now. But you've got KDE Plasma. You can go online. Heck, you can go to my channel. I've covered KDE Plasma on several different distributions. You could look at those. I mean, you've got Garuda, Manjaro, KDE Neon. Farron OS is a modified KDE. You've got a lot of different KDE distributions out there to look at. But maybe KDE is not what you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for something more along the lines of GNOME. Maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe you like what Windows or Mac is doing for you, but you want it to be a little different and you want a different workflow. Then go look at some distributions that use GNOME. Hone in on your desktop first. That's going to make this change so much easier. Because if you just download something and start using it and you're like, oh, I hate this, Linux sucks. It's not like Windows. You can't change Windows desktop environment. Linux has got a plethora of different things you can use. So don't give up. Find the desktop environment that you like and then step into what distribution you might want to use. Like I said, GNOME might be a choice for you. A lot of people don't like GNOME. I'm changing my thoughts on it because GNOME 43 has really impressed me so far. But you do have other options out there. At present, I'm using XFCE on AV Linux. But you can come over and check out what XFCE looks like. There's different options. You don't have to just download one distribution, take a look at it and go, oh my Lord, this is horrible. I can't come to Linux. Let me go back to Windows because I'm more comfortable. That's where most people make the mistake. They just download a distribution and they go, okay, I can't do this. This is horrible. But they don't realize that they have so many different options. There's so many things that they can change themselves or go out and find the distribution that they're using with a different desktop environment. Right now, one of the most popular distributions is MX Linux. It comes with XFCE out of the box, but you can also get it with KDE or Fluxbox. So you've got different things that you can change there. If you download MX Linux XFCE and try it, and the desktop turns you off from it, maybe you're a KDE person. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're not an MX Linux person. But the first thing you need to do is get comfortable with a desktop environment. Something that when you use it, you feel real comfortable with, and you could say, hey, I could use this on a daily basis. Something like Budgie. Yes, it's based on GNOME, but it gives you a totally different feel. It gives you a different way to do your work and a different workflow. That's what I impress on people when they ask me, what's the most important thing when I switch to Linux? The most important thing is feeling comfortable when you come into it. Now, there are going to be viewers out there that disagree with me and say, nope, that's not true. To me, it is. I wanted to have a desktop environment that I could use that I felt comfortable in. Once I got that comfort, then I concentrated on what distribution I was going to use. Because really, if something isn't comfortable, you're not going to use it. If I was 6'5", 300 pounds, and I had a Nissan Sentra car, I'm going to find something else that works for me because that car is going to be too small. It's just a fact. It is the way things are. There are so many different opportunities out there to change the GUI and the desktop environment on Linux that is the most important thing. Find what's comfortable for you. It really depends on what kind of work you're doing on it, what you are utilizing for. Are you using it for work? Are you using it for office work? Are you using it as a hobby? Are you using it for camera stuff? Are you using it for video recording? And that's another thing. Write down what you're using right now. If you go back to your desktop and you see down here that you've got an office application, you've got a video editor, you've got GIMP, you've got, write down the applications that you're using and go do some searches on them. Don't be afraid. Find out what is out there in the open source market that can bring you over to Linux and kind of unchain you from what you're bound to. I hear people all the time, I just can't leave Photoshop behind. I can understand that in some cases, but in probably 60 to 70% of the cases, you could switch over to GIMP and not miss a beat. I used a lot of open source software actually prior to moving to Linux because I didn't want to pay for software, and I got used to using it, and I was very impressed on how much work I could get done without having to stroke a check or pay money for software that's out there. I donated to the developers to support them and keep pushing these products, and they're still around. I mean, it's 2022, and I'm going on 16 years of being in Linux and probably 20 years of using open source software. So just remember, at the end of the day, whatever makes you the most comfortable, whatever makes it easy for you to get your work done, and whatever gives you that urge to leave Windows or Mac and give Linux a try is what's most important. Find a desktop environment that you're comfortable with, then give it a shot. If you disagree with me, or heck, if you do agree with me, please, either way, leave a comment below. Please do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. The more likes I get keeps me in YouTube's algorithm, which means the information you just saw in this video, if it was helpful to you, it can be helpful to somebody else. And subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, we are on 3 separate platforms, YouTube, Utreon, and Odyssey, and you can become members on all 3. On YouTube, it's only 99 cents. On Utreon, it's $2.99. And on Odyssey, it's $4. You can also buy us a cup of coffee, maybe go over to PayPal and throw us a donation, or go to Patreon and become a patron to the channel. All those links will be in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.